Welcome back to the North American LCS. The teams are readying up on stage for round 2 between CLG and Team Liquid. A game that really started with everything right for TL, everything wrong for CLG, and then somehow by the end of the game, everything's just fine.
Yeah, I mean, it started out with everything wrong for CLG. It ended with everything wrong for TL. I mean, TL were up 1.8K just over 3 minutes into the game. Like, that's insane. With that kind of lead, usually the gold graph goes only in one direction. But CLG ended up massively ahead. They close out the game in 26 minutes, and they get a power play with the Rift Herald of 1.7K, which is the best we have seen so far in the NA.
Yeah, it's kind of fun to track. You maybe the mini power plays now as the Rift Herald starting to do a bit more damage. But again, it just felt like CLG kept calm, kept in control, did what they do best, and made very few mistakes. A lot of things we pointed out, like Huhi overstepping sometime, Darshan every now and then, TPs too late or too early when a play they didn't need to, and Dardoch is a hot-headed player known for going too deep in a lot of plays, but everyone showed restraint. Dardoch actually played a pretty controlled game to give them a kill and some gold back, and then everything just fell into place for them. So we'll see what happens here. I think Liquid certainly have some holes they can patch up in draft to start things off, but that won't be enough to, of course, completely win this whole game, as Lee Sin and Cannon start off for Liquid as their first 2 bans, and Zach probably going to stay perma-banned on the red side at least this weekend. Olaf's going to follow there as well.
Yeah, very likely is. And I mean, for CLG, really, it was a team effort, right? Yeah, sure, Dardoch had that horrible dive in the bot lane, but then he was able to move around the map. He put on a lot of pressure in top lane. He was helping out mid lane, and he was much more active than Reignover. And Darshan had like 100% kill participation through almost the entire game. He was great. Aframu had a lot of playmaking. CLG's like, just as a whole, looked very good, and TL has a lot of things that they want to look to improve on. The Rakan plus Jhin did not look that strong, right? Like, if you're able to get that many kills early and not smash a lane afterwards, then the combo is probably not that powerful, and maybe they tried to get a little too clever for their own good in draft, thinking that they would be able to bait CLG into taking Xayah, then they'd get Caitlyn, but it didn't work out that way, and they ended up getting punished.
Well, there's Galio as CLG's last ban, and Aurelion Sol actually is Liquid's last one, but Greg is going to be picked by CLG. Caitlyn the next easy pick there for Stixxay. We'll see what Liquid want to do with their next few picks. Again, if they want to take something like Rakan, maybe with that Xayah, they do have options here, but taking that first pick at least does mean they're trying to get even more power into Reignover early.
Yeah, and take it away from Dardoch, who is one of the guys who really helped to popularize the Moby Boots rush Elise, moving around the map, constant ganking, constant pressure. Gragas can be a flex, top or jungle, so you do have to consider that as far as the draft goes. And TL, I don't think that they're going to want to let their ADC fall to second rotation again, because they could end up in a scenario where they're not in a comfortable matchup against Caitlyn once more.
We'll have to see. Ashe and Varus were both banned away in phase 2 in game number 1, so might just be taking Varus in. No, actually switch it up to Renekton, so again, going to force that pinch on the bot lane most likely.
Yeah, you're certainly expecting the same 2 phase 2 bans for CLG. You can simply ban out the Ashe and the Varus. You can obviously have other options than that. There's still Lucian, there's still Xayah. You don't have to go to this Jhin, but we'll see what CLG elects to do. And if they pick up their Nami right now, no matter what AD carry it is, your bot lane should win 2v2. And I think that's why they're actually going for this pick. Just establish 2v2 dominance no matter what TL does.
Yep, you can see there's Ashe already banned by CLG. So Liquid likely expecting something like the Varus maybe coming along here as well. The other thing I like about CLG's draft here is that you said already Gragas is a flex pick. So if Liquid are trying to target one of the lanes down, set up this Renekton to really ban away top laners and like hope that Darshan's picking something else. But if you also ban junglers, the Dardoch's like, yeah, I was playing Gragas the whole time. I'm totally fine with this matchup. So let's start with Shen at least. So looking at top lane.
Yeah, and that's really the power of the pick. And I think for now, just banning out that Shen is intelligent because of how effective Darshan was on the pick and how well it works for CLG, who wants to be making plays, who wants to be moving around the map. And Shen really does help to enable you to do that. So you could even go 1 top ban, 1 jungle ban. You could double ban matchups that you think are going to be tough for Golden Glue, and then even if Gragas goes top lane, Renekton should be able to kind of bully that, so they have some options.
Yeah, and they actually ban away LeBlanc, so kind of splitting the difference on solo lane bans there. CLG will get first pick into phase 2 though. Stixxay, of course, going to hover his favorite champion. At some point I'm expecting Dardoch to play this. I know he's been playing it a decent amount in solo queue.
I think that Warwick is actually really good, and it showed up once or twice in the NA LCS and then just kind of vanished, and it may actually get locked in as time goes down.
Ooh.
But, all right.
I like this even more. Ivern's been still banned quite a lot despite some nerfs to his kit, but a lot of teams still wanting to keep that out of a lot of hands. Dardoch, of course, doesn't strike you as an Ivern player necessarily, but I assume he's got a lot of practice in.
And the thing is, if you want to be a top tier player at any role, you need to be able to be flexible. If you look at the best players around the world, they can play everything in their role. And Dardoch wants to be a complete player. He wants to grab up this Ivern. And I think that the Ahri pick here is pretty intelligent because when you're showing this sort of a composition, Ori slots in so well. So you could try to take away Ori, but then Hui would have the Ahri counter pick. So this way, you pick Ori. If he goes for the Orianna, which goes very well with this composition, he has a bad 1v1 lane, and if he doesn't, then you've kind of hurt their composition a little bit. So either way, you can look at that as pretty okay. And Hui here is going to elect to go for the 1v1, not prioritizing what would fit best in their comp.
Yeah, actually going for Syndra here as Piglet's taken Twitch, so moving down to more of, I think his style of carry, that's kind of why Jhin surprised me so much in the last game, is that like not only are you pushed down to a champion that doesn't see that much play, but like this doesn't even fit Piglet when you were forced to play Jhin before.
Yeah, and maybe the Piglet that we think he is not the player he is anymore, right? Maybe he's not as comfortable playing these in the current meta. But one thing you would normally look at this matchup and you expect to get absolutely slammed is the Twitch. Doran's shield does help you out with that a lot, surviving through a lot of the early poke, the early harass. Still, that said, Nami, in my opinion, outlanes Karma in the 1v1. Caitlyn should certainly outlane Twitch in the 1v1. So in this 2v2 matchup, you certainly expect CLG to have the advantage to push them in, to poke them out, and to be, at the very least, pressuring the turret.
Well, see what happens here. Coach is going to shake hands after the draft of game number 2, and CLG lining up a different style of comp. I like all the pick they kind of built in, able to play pressure well with that Shen. This time, we've been seeing a lot of Ivern plus another healer or shielder. So going to be protecting this strong Caitlyn pick and round it out with some nice things on their side as well. Liquid, on the other hand, a lot more aggressive. Even Ignite in the bottom lane for Matt, actually leaving Golden Glue to take the exhaust in his mid lane's a little curious to me, but I think Liquid, much more stable picks here. If they can keep their lanes even or get ahead with a lot of the tools they have early on, should be a better start for them. But we said that last time when they got a lead in game number 1, so we'll see if they can convert better here.
Yeah, it's hard to know. And I mean, about the Ignite in the bot lane for Matt, one thing for Nami, while she can bully a straight-up 2v2 lane very well, you can also all-in this champion. She is very squishy. If she misses a bubble and you flash on her and you Ignite, you can take her down. You have Reignover, who is going to have very powerful gank. So adding in the Ignite puts a lot of kill threat onto the Nami, who's otherwise going to bully you in the 2v2. So that's what they're trying to go for. But there's some very snowbally lanes, some very scary lanes on either side. I mean, if Syndra gets very ahead of Ahri, Ahri becomes very worthless. And likewise, on the other side of the coin, if the Ahri gets very ahead, you simply just keep dashing in and killing off that Syndra. So there could be a lot of jungle attention mid, and also top, where Lorlo should have a very good early edge over this Gragas and be able to bully him out, and if he gets ahead, that could be problematic for CLG.
I think highlighting the jungle matchup's a great thing here. Dardoch had so much impact despite the misplay on the Elise last time. Reignover really was just farming up on the Rengar in game 1. Here, matchup effectively reversed, it feels like, with Dardoch. Like, you're going to have to counter gank a lot more and farm, although never mind, Stun's going to actually hit onto the Renekton, though. Reignover awfully low. Dashan might even commit for a little bit more. Aphro's here, actually roams up on a Golden Glue. That is complete disaster. Dashan flashes over, Ignite is done. It's not enough to kill Golden Glue, but no Blast Plant to get to just yet, and CLG still chasing. Another body slam's going to hit onto Lolo. I think CLG have to give it up now, but so many summoners burnt for TL.
Yeah, a lot of summoners spent there. Darshan probably should have just backed off after they forced a flash. They would have at least forced 2 flashes had Dardoch actually hit his Root Caller onto Reignover, but he accidentally hit the Renekton instead, so they didn't actually have the CC chain there. Either way, I still think it's net positive for CLG. As look at the base timing for Golden Glue. It's so delayed. Mid lane is really going to get messed up off this. The base as well, that had to come out from Reignover, so he's quite behind. So CLG is very, very happy off of what they get out of this extended play.
All right, thankfully Syndra doesn't push too hard at level 1. Wait, yes, she does. Who are able to deny, I think, 4 minions at least moving into that turret.
I think the whole wave. It's actually an entire wave lost by Golden Glue, and he's flashless. Like, that is such an awful start for your mid laner, and the fact that Ivern now just gets to wander around, no threat of getting counter jungled. Elise is too far behind to really be over there and actually punishing you. So, Dardoch has the safety. The bot lane should have the 2v2 matchup advantage. The only real worry right now for CLG is Lorlo versus Darshan, because Darshan is flashless, and Renekton should have an early edge in that matchup.
I actually like what Dardoch did there, just playing it safe, making sure he marks his major camps. But I think Renova might have thought his blue was going to go down. Dardoch, you can see, going to wander back, take this blue down for himself, and see how the rest of this path continues. Now level 3 for the Ivan. Wolfcamp almost marked up there as well. He's going to give Renova access to all of his buffs, but instead of taking a risky route, just make sure he plays it safe and gets all his camps. I mean, TL already started behind.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're not as experienced on a champion, you know, these are, like, the defensive Ivern routes are something that you can practice out very, very easily. Whereas if you're doing invades, there's a lot more factors that come into it. Piglet may get spotted out here.
That's a level 4 Ivan!
He went the wrong way!
He did go the wrong way! Oh no. Not enough vision there, unfortunately, so Dardoch is going to get a ward down instead. That was almost disaster for Team Liquid's bottom lane.
That is pretty funny stuff, but either way, he's going to be able to get his base off. Still had a nice early clear. They do get pushed out of lane because of this, but it shouldn't really matter. And in the top lane, I mean, Darshan is going to be taking some damage, but Gragas, as far as the tanks go, actually trades pretty well, and you have some range wave clear. Like, you have ways to fight back. You're not just going to get absolutely trashed by a Renekton.
Yeah, it doesn't feel as bad as, say, Galio or Shen. Champions that really just have to clear a little bit more. Renova, though, ducking into this mid lane, going to look for Cocoon onto Huhi.
Nope.
That one misses, so Huhi holds onto that flash, and pretty bold with not to use a summoner, especially without a cleanse and easy gank potentially for Renova.
Yeah, that's a good call out, right? I mean, a lot of confidence there from Hui that he can react, you know, and judge whether or not that is going to hit him. Because if that Cocoon lands, the charm will land. He has no cleanse. He's in a lot of trouble. But, you know, you have to take into consideration the fact that Golden Glue does not play Ignite in this lane. So that's something that may give him the confidence that even if he got hit, he could late flash out.
Bottom lane, Matt actually going to start a read onto Afro. Renova's here as well. Bobble going to miss on a Piglet. Now Afro actually caught down by a lot more damage. Renova here, a little too late to follow up on the gank. CLG, though, going to lose that early trade. I saw Dardoch dip into the left side of TL's jungle, though, so I think he stole some camps away.
Yeah, and we'll see what all he can collect. I mean, that is kind of why you take the Ignite, though, like that all-in threat, right? They didn't actually kill him off, obviously, but they didn't even use the Ignite. The Elise didn't even get there, and they still got him down to about half HP. So definitely a lot of kill threat had Reignover been able to arrive a little bit earlier, and now kind of bullying Lorlo out a little bit. Maybe just going to try to push him off the turret. I don't really go for this. I think you just want to zone him off.
Slow lands into Hui actually roaming up. Really nice stuff, but that's going to be the flash force by Lorlo. Rucola's going to land in. Hui should be able to follow. And there's first blood to Darshan.
That was such a good roam from Hui with a 3-man squad. You definitely have enough damage, and a CLG able to commit and lair that CC so incredibly well. And now TL's going to try to respond on the bot side. Ahri and Elise roaming down. They are spotted out, though, and CLG could just back off.
Afro already knows. Great presence of mind there from CLG to spot out the potential roam here. I mean, sure, Dardoch's going to lose a couple of camps, but he was already playing Terranova's blue side jungle. So once again, CLG, so good at setting up plays. I cannot overstate that. Last game, we saw it with a lot of the way they were moving around the map and getting themselves back into the game. This time, a proactive play nets Darshan first blood. Yeah,
and Reignover potential to actually get chased down here. Hui is 6 now and has his ultimate. Reignover could probably repel to the blast cone if it's there.
He slows the root caller lands, ignite down! Oh, up to the blast cone. Is going to be safe with the repel, but that flash looked almost like a big old fail.
Yeah, they do get him out. He just had to get to the wall to repel the blast cone. Very close to not being able to do it. But this is really kind of like classic Hui at his best, you have to say. You know, making the roams for his team. He's known for doing this, and it looked like it was just going to be a zoning play, but once Hui is there as well, there's so much follow-up CC. You'll see Hui holds the Scatter the Weak. Lorlo thought that was the stun, actually, but it was not. He flashes first. They're able to land the Root Caller, then follow it up with 2 more CCs. So he definitely had to be able to flash one of those CC spells, and just like in the first lane where he wasn't able to actually repost the Cocoon from Elise, he's falling a little bit short on those reactions.
Yep. You can see Dardoch mid again, but Hui being 6 misses his stun. So no all in there onto Golden Glue. I think was trying to catch him before Spirit Wash was available, but up now for Golden Glue. He should be pretty safe and is a little bit behind in CS, I think, due to mostly what happened at level 1. But staying afloat is just fine there. Darshan actually starting to bully around this lane. You don't expect him to be ahead of a Renekton, but that great roam's going to kind of give CLG a lead there, and they're up 500 gold. Very similar story to the last game. TL had the advantage last time, but again, CLG on the front foot and making sure they do what they want to do in the game. Always dictating.
Yeah, and I think Golden Glue does deserve some credit. I mean, he has farmed evenly both these games, and the fact that he lost his entire first wave, you know, all the experience and all the gold, and is still laning pretty evenly here against Huhi, does speak to how he's doing in this game a little bit. But you know, Huhi obviously able to pull off that roam play and get something done elsewhere.
Well, have a look at what's happening in inventories right now. Looks like Blade of the Ruin King on the way for Piglet. Has a Vamp Scepter built up already. 6A, of course. Can't eschew that. Has a straight BF sword for a lot of laning power, as Darshan does spot Rain over on his blue side. Looks like he's donating a buff over to Golden Glue. Piglet and Matt getting pushed in for a little while now. CS is even though Piglet actually with a slight lead. Is a nice start there, but again, it just feels like CLG always setting up that next play. Dardoch donates the blue over. Hui's going to go over and pick up that candy. And then maybe a dive on the bottom side, maybe another room for Syndra, or just setting up a simple Drake play. CLG, again, kind of have the map to play with at this point.
Yeah, it is quite an even game, though, and you know, Piglet and Matt have done well to lane evenly. You know, they did get a little bit of pressure from Rainover, but this is certainly not a super big lead by any means for CLG, and they haven't really even got any turret damage down with this Caitlyn Nami. So Twitch is going to become very, very strong in the later stages and be that flanking threat, that assassination threat, and especially in combination with the Ahri, you can set up some aggressive plays.
Rainover, good little cocoon there, lands in after the stun from Lolo. Darshan needs to get out of the way, ulties to safety, and does have his flash. Rainover maybe looking to dive this through. No help coming though for Darshan for quite a while. Repel's going to land in, he body slams away, and straight back to the safety of the wave.
And he does survive, which is well done by Darshan, but still, it's a great play from TL because they're zoning him off the turret, so he's losing all this XP, he's losing all the gold, and they're getting tons of turret damage. They may actually be able to kill this. With another wave coming in, this is kind of risky for Darshan. He wants to hold on to that first turret. We'll see if he can do it.
STP, bold, but still safe here for Darshan. He's going to try and clear the waves ASAP.
But it's a Golden Glue's coming up here too, right? Like, this is going to be a 3-man dive. If they pull this off, they're going to get first turret as well. Darshan has minions dead.
Yeah, Lola had ulti. That's the stun. Darshan fail, flushes towards the wall, charmed in by Golden Glue, and there's the exhaust just to make sure he's going to take it.
Oh, Colossus!
The turret and Darshan, she'll keep him alive. Rainover finally gets it, but it's a trade kill, and they didn't even get first turret.
Darshan able to hold back on. The curse of the Colossus comes back up, and now Huhi is roaming up. If he can find either of them, they will be a free kill.
Gonna get nothing, but might save the turret. So much wave clear for Syndra, and CLG are still pushing.
Yeah, they're on the second turret and getting a lot of damage down. These bases are quite delayed, so despite Darshan going down, using both his summoners, he trades a kill and ends up netting them that first turret in the bot lane. Well worth it for CLG.
And CLG, again, just feels like they always have what you're going to do planned out, and then the reaction planned already. In fact, they'll be able to take the Ocean Drake as well, but watch how Darshan survived this onslaught.
Yeah, the biggest thing is notice how he's not doing damage to the champions. He's killing off the minions, so he does fail his flash there, unfortunately for him, and they think this is a free kill. But Courage of the Colossus comes back up. He's able to proc it with that body slam, dodge out the charm, trade a kill. It could have gone even worse had he actually flashed the charm there too. But still, you know, it's the focus on the minions that gets the turret on his side. And had he not prioritized those minions right off the bat, he would have actually gone down very, very early and not been able to trade a kill.
Yeah, 2,000 gold up now for CLG, and they're expecting to lose that top turret at some point, and that'll even get the gold closer to about 1,000. But until they do that, CLG will have a much better gold lead as Rainover going to try and solo out this Rift Herald.
Well, and I mean, one way to do that is just drop the Rift Herald top lane. I mean, if you drop it right in front of the turret, it's essentially a guaranteed kill on that. Just the charge alone will take down that turret. So we'll see if they elect to do that, or if they want to try to save it for a bigger play later on, because they should be able to pretty easily take down that first turret. You could try to get that, kill off Darshan, then look for a second.
Actually swapped their bot lane up to the top side as well, so it'll be even easier for Darshan to get it. Huhi with a nice stun there onto Golden Glue, but he's playing back nice and safe. There's Afro, and I believe Dardoch was also camping the right side.
Yeah, 3-man top, so they are trying to get a kill and then go for 2, but CLG is forcing elsewhere. Elise has still not shown, so they don't know where that Rift Herald summon is going to be, but Golden Glue in trouble.
Recall Lance, who is going to move immediately with the ultimate, but he has to flash out of the way. Redemption down by CLG, actually trying to get a bit of extra damage done for Dardoch, but Daisy out, they're going to keep sieging, and Stixay's roamed up. Golden Glue going to hit the ulti, ignites down, he flashes and still dies to Afro move.
Yeah, I mean, Golden Glue made a good initial play. He forced out Hui's flash in the 1v3, but he stayed around too long. Too confident that he could get something done. It does go down.
Stun landing now onto Dardoch. Now Lolo's here to try and get the kill. Lolo does manage to snag it. As the tidal wave's not there in time from Afro, CLG losing 2.
Yeah, good grab back there from TL. We'll see if they actually drop the Rift Herald. Now they're going to try to get another kill on Hui, who's flashless.
I think his Ghost might have to use it. He hasn't popped it yet. Actually doesn't have it, excuse me, as he gets stunned. There's another kill for Lolo as TL able to turn it well around.
And now the Rift Herald should be dropped, but Darshan is coming down, and I guess they're afraid of being able to actually hold this position. So despite getting the kills, they don't find a time to actually drop the Rift, and they do have to be somewhat cognizant of the fact that you can be interrupted on it. If he starts channeling and Darshan's able to ultimate him out of it or something like that, you actually lose the summon.
Rainover again, pretty low on health, so TL thinking wave's not there, health's not there. We'll play it a little safer for now. Did get the top turret, of course. That's going to get that gold back around to that 1,000 gold difference. CLG, though, again, also have mid lane turret to take. So this game's hanging pretty close in the bounce of about 1,000 to 2,000 gold. But it's nice to see TL being proactive. That was my biggest worry, is that CLG would just keep dictating and TL couldn't find plays to make. Sure, they fumble in some spots, but plays top, plays mid, able to get the game back towards their favor.
Yeah, they certainly have been able to, and they're looking like this is a much better game from them. You know, they weren't gifted that big lead, and in fact, they actually started at quite a disadvantage off of what happened at level 1 this time, but they're playing CLG much more evenly, and they have good scaling, you know, on the Twitch, and, you know, the RE scales pretty well here also, but it is going to be tough to deal with, you know, the shields and the heals coming out from the Ivern and the Nami when you have these people who are looking to try to burst someone down very quickly, like the Elise and like this RE.
Blue up over to Gold and Glue. Level 11 almost hit for these two mid laners, so they'll have rank 2 ulti up
Looking.
too. Piglet again with the Blade of the Ruin King. Trying to ambush somebody here. Matt does get a slowdown. Piglet's going to open up, but Redemption down already. Dardoch there to protect his teammates. Stun lands on a Stixay though. Has to flash over the wall. Get himself out to safety again. Good CC layering there for Team Liquid, but not quite enough for a kill.
Yep, just a trade of summoners there, and I think CLG actually could have baited that a little bit harder. Once, you know, the rest of the members were actually in that bush already waiting for CLG. Had they actually waited a little bit longer and let them open up onto Hui, they may have been able to turn that around and get a kill. But for now, look for this turret.
Good stun onto Golden Glue. He's got nothing left to try and get out. Ace in the hole is going to get blocked by Rainover. Daisy angry, gets a double knock-up. After eating the Empower Karma Cube at CLG, staying for the turret. We'll get it. Oh, Daisy died. So backdoor bonus back on. Takes a little longer than they needed, but there's Stixay getting that second turret.
And Rainover needs to use the Rift Herald. It's going to expire soon, so now he's just running down towards bot. It looks like that's going to be his choice. You can just drop it down here and try to at least knock down that bottom turret. It's only Caitlyn moving down. It is flashless, so this first turret should be theirs. I'm expecting him to be summoning it right now. I would believe.
Yep, there it is. Can do some cute stuff. I've seen people summon it and let it wrap around through the tri-bush there, but he'll be here in time. Oh, where'd he go? Here we go, he's busy. Headbutts the turret, and there's it, the first one destroyed. TL gonna try and push through.
And they have a big wave, so we'll see if they can actually get damage down on the second. If you can at least just get the charge off, that's something. CLG want to try to defend this, but it will at least get the charge off and will chunk that turret down a bit. So not a bad Rift Herald.
Yep.
Does eventually get it.
Is based on health though. You see that second charge doing significantly less damage. So she's now faded away. But again, TL at least getting the expected value off of it, I think, is nice for them. CLG though with a nice response. And still up in turrets, actually took top outer as well, I believe. So the outer ring failed for them. TL still have one to go in mid lane, which is the hardest one to get usually.
And it is a nice response from CLG. Like, they knew that Rainover had this, and instead of playing it defensively as TL did in response, they actually go on the offense. They start sieging up and forcing Rainover to react to them instead of being able to set up their own play. So just by sieging up and putting them in that spot, they actually did delay it a lot, and Golden Glue, Darshan could look.
Great bit of damage. Bubble not going to hit, but Darshan rolls in a Q. Charm lands in. There's damage back onto Darshan, but he's pretty tanky. Dardoch not there to heal him up just yet as he's getting zoned off by Rainover just to the right of mid lane.
There's a little bit of a mind game there. When Darshan starts his body slam, he's hoping that Golden Glue will expect him to flash it and, you know, thus use his ultimate or summoner in response. And that's why he didn't go for anything, but they're looking to engage now.
Go a little too long, forced to burn the ultimate down as there's a stun off to Dardoch. Redemption's going to reset the fight. Hui already took out Matt with the ulti. There's a second kill as Dardoch. Credit for damage onto Rainover. TL just stuck around too long there.
Yeah, it was a good start to the fight from Afromu. Throws out that wave. It hit basically everyone, disrupting the fight so much. And this is such a good dragon to grab. The Infernal, they're picking up their second in a row. They already have the tempo. They're extending the gold lead. And CLG is looking like they're very much in control. And you know, in the late game, if it's even, it's definitely going to be in their favor. Look at this from Afromu. Right through the whole team, that tidal wave. Hits 4 members, not just barely missing Golden Blue actually, but you know, it forces everyone out. And Piglet's not contributing to this fight whatsoever. There's no threat onto CLG. Their engage was very good, and they played the fight very well.
And again, it's the decisiveness from CLG that's really been impressing me. Yes, they're excellent at setting up plays, but the quickness at which they're acting on a lot of these situations is great. Pickle was trying to set up for a flank there and couldn't get a position because CLG were like, we're going already.
Yeah, they're just able to be proactive, and they have a lot of good ways to start the fight. You know, with the Nami tidal wave and the Gragas in particular, they have quite a bit of safety for that Gragas because he's getting shielded up by the Ivern, and they have those powerful support items that are going to come in early, like the Redemption, much earlier than support can actually get the gold to build it. So, you know, CLG will end up in a point where they have their Locket, their Redemption, likely a Mikhail's that's probably going to be building up or things like that. So they're going to have all this extra tankiness and support.
Yep, Styx is certainly getting stronger. Kind of fun to see Rapid Fire Cannon burst there on the Caitlyn after that BF sword. All in from He's going to get Golden Guru low, but not enough to actually kill him. Refillable potion ticking over for a few spare points of health.
But the big thing here is he's not even thinking he's going to kill him. He's pushing him off the map. Now you get full control over the jungle. Now you get the blue buff. Now you can actually threaten that tier 2 turret on top lane. So it's what they gain from the map presence, right? You know, Golden Glue still has not left the base yet. And this means CLG now has full control over their jungle, and that's what he got from
Yeah, and now the next play starting there. Huge chain of CC there onto Lolo. Is forced to flash out. He again threatening off to the side. Matt not too healthy either. Redemption's going to reset it all. Zaphro's forced to flash out of the way. Golden Glue looks for a Chamba, barely misses Styx there. Starshine already burnt his ultimate, so CLG sort of out of cooldowns here. But TL get nothing off the counterplay.
CLG is out of cooldowns, but they have the Ocean, and they have Nami to heal them back up. So, if they do stick around, they will be able to slowly heal it back up. Hui is too low, so he's going to at least go back to base, but still. Getting some of those cooldowns out, they've established vision, especially getting it on TL's blue side jungle is very important because that is the path in towards Baron, which may be the next eventual objective.
Yep, took the last strike only about a minute ago, so want to play to that left side as much as possible. Rain over, busy clearing out camps. Looks like his Leanders is almost completed, so he'll be getting stronger. And Picklet also scaling up. So again, TL certainly within touching distance this game, only down about 3,000 gold, but I am waiting to see more of a proactive team play. I've seen a lot of good individual moments from them in skirmishes, but playing full 5v5 against this kind of comp with a team the caliber of CLG is going to be a tough ask here.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, Darshan is going to be such a good front line, so disruptive, and the fact that Stixxay has this much support, and if Piglet goes backline, there's the threat of the Syndra. Like, there's all these pieces that are kind of working against them, which is why I feel like CLG has the stronger 5v5. And that's something that they're going to have to really be able to deal with through like good positioning and finding those right openings.
Well, again, map just resetting here for both sides. He goes going back, I think. There's a Locket finish for Dardoch, so some pretty big item buys coming out across both teams. Black Cleaver's on for Lolo. Looks like Rainova didn't have enough money for his Leanders just yet. Busy clearing out vision this time around as TL again. The longer the games drag on, you tend to feel that pressure of mid lane outer turret being like, we should use the Rift Herald on this instead, because Hui's going to sit there wave clearing. Now with the Banshee's Veil, actually, going to feel very safe to just sit here and deny this turret for as long as possible.
Yeah, exactly. They want to maintain control around here because it gives them that safety. It gives them the access, to the Baron and this kind of retreat path that they can take, and it allows them to maintain control of their jungle a lot more easily.
See, actually, Hui's just chilling out in mid. Actually got a sizable CS lead. Up against Golden Glue. In fact, CLG in general up in farm.
Renekton is coming up, though. It looks like TL is trying to set something up, but can't quite find it yet.
Yeah, not there. Darshan getting bot side pushing. Teleports are up for both top laners, so they've got the ability to get there, but Dardoch sitting in mid got ignited by Matt, actually.
Yeah, that is pretty random.
Yeah, I mean, I think tried something there. Dardoch, though, plenty of shields. Very supportive himself, able to use it on him. Afro, of course, waits for Grievous Wounds to wear off and then heals him up. And again, CLG really only concerned about this Baron at this stage, although Clouddrake is up in a minute 15. Might split the map a little more. CLG gonna push through TL's jungle aggressively and again get them out of here. Start some sort of push. They're gonna set up on mid lane. A good stun there. Lands. Darshan box him back in. All in. Lands it. Hui just takes him down.
Such a good ultimate from Darshan. They push out bot wave, force Renekton down there. Then they exert their will in the mid lane. They're moving around the map so well, making TL always respond to them, and they can just keep sieging here. As the next wave comes in, Daisy is available. They can actually just keep pushing. If Lorlo's just going to stay bot, they can force out a TP because they can go for the inhibitor.
Yep, turret going down. Lolo is going to stick around to CLG. All right, we're going to keep pressuring. This turret's not going to last too much longer. Reina, but dead still for 7 more seconds. Charm lands in onto Darshan. He's going to get rooted down, but Dardoch going to pop the locket and reset with the redemption. Turret dead. Lolo overstays in bottom lane.
I guess they just made the call that they can't actually hold this even if he does come back. Now he's TPing as Reynor has responded, so they're going to try to look for a flank in a fight. We'll see if they can get it.
Well, CC not hitting just yet as CLG look to exit TL's base.
Scot-free.
Yeah, Lolo couldn't quite find a good deep ward there, so CLG actually just going to wait in a brush and hope TL face check. Instead, might double back and even look to get aggressive. Yeah, they're going to sneak back in for the inhib.
They could go right in. I mean, the one thing is, this does put them in a position where TL could maybe get that 5v5 if they want it, but TL is not grouped up just yet, and CLG should be able to walk out if they want to.
Flash for Darshan, looks for Reina, but doesn't get it. Wave there's going to disengage, and as Darshan charmed in towards him, he's going to get rooted here. As he tries to flush himself out of the way, Golden looking for the flank, but Daisy zoning the rest of TL. 4-man blast going over the wall, and CLG out.
Yeah, they're out. They're fine, and they're going to be able to pick up this red buff too. Okay. Now they can go to the Dragon. TL could look to try to threaten a Baron rush on the other side, but they don't have a mana on Golden Glue. They don't really have the pieces in place. And now without TP for Lorlo, this is such an easy setup for Darshan. I mean, they already forced that play without even having to expend Darshan's CP. So now he simply goes bot. You shove it out. You threaten the Baron. You threaten the top lane. Lorlo either answers and Darshan TP's away, or he doesn't answer and you get free turrets.
Yep, and Dardoch looked dangerously low against the red buff, had the smite ready.
Oh, TP coming in now. They're actually looking for something. I have no idea what this is for.
Baron rush? Okay. I guess just making sure they weren't doing it.
Yeah, they got a little bit spooked, thought that they might be sneaking the Baron because they hadn't seen some people for a while. So it looks pretty silly, but it also looks pretty silly when you lose a Baron in this type of position because that can be the key back into the game for TL.
We can see a bit of greed there for CLG, maybe prompting that play. They did take the Drake after taking down the mid lane and him invading. But Darshan, I mean, this is the right side of the map for him to be on. So Teleport getting some value there at least. And now Stixay up with 2 items. And Mikhail's finished for Afromu. We've seen those 2 supportive items already doing work for Dardoch and who he's working on item number 3. This is a prime time to let those supers push in and then just, again, take control of the map.
And they're actually looking who he's on the side here. Darshan coming in.
Blue buff over to Golden Glue, I think, but they're going to try and take him down. Stun lands in onto the Elise as there's Darshan going to follow up. Stixay going to get flanked by Lolo and does get taken out by Piglet. Big loss there for CLG. They lose the primary carry, but the flash recall is going to find him. Dardoch, we're going to make that huge play on a Golden Glue, but there's just so much extra damage out. Hui down to Lolo, who's going to rip the rest of CLG to pieces. Afro lucky to be alive as Dardoch waiting on the blast cone and takes it to get himself out. I mean, Golden Glue does die as well, so a 2 for 2 overall.
Dardoch looking like he thought he was on Lee Sin or something, flashing in there on the Ivern. They do get the kill on Golden Glue, but that could have been disastrous as you know, these sort of compositions, without Stixay, you do not have the sustained DPS to keep it going. And the start of the fight was pretty good from CLG, but a lot of credit to Lorlo, who's able to get the flank from the side and with Piglet, take down Stixay. Because Stixay is not with his team. He needed to actually just 90 caliber net over to where Afromu and Dardoch is. That's where you want to be. Instead, he's over on the side by himself, gets taken out. So definitely some poor positioning there from Stixay. You need to be cognizant of where your team is so they can give you the help. And here's the dive forward, ends up being a trade of kills from those mid laners. And Afromu, thankfully for CLG, did actually get out.
Looks like Red Buff kills Golden Glue. That was a pretty janky kill there from Dardoch, but did move in with the iPhone and managed to get himself a trade kill for CLG. That was funny.
Yeah, that was quite the fight. But one little nitpicky thing I have here for Darshan is I actually like seeing Knight's Vow so much in compositions like this as a 3rd item, and I just think it makes more sense than almost anything else you could buy. We did see him have a lot of effectiveness with Warmogs yesterday by trying to kind of stand in front, stoke up poke, and then heal back up, so he may be going for that, but Knight's Vow is so good with these sorts of compositions where your AD carry must survive for you to succeed.
I mean, could see it on Dardoch as well at some point, but he is going Athenes by the looks of things, so certainly have to agree there. See if 6A can position a little bit better perhaps on the next play, although he doesn't need to do too much work here. CLG getting a great shove starting on this turret, and TL again, so slow to respond to CLG's well set up sieges.
And a lot of this is just because CLG controls their jungle. They have the vision. So TL does not know where they are. They don't know where to properly respond. And by the time you actually move around and you've seen them, they are already at your turret, already doing damage. And this is the power of the vision control that CLG has set up throughout this game. And it's why TL is being made to look a little bit silly.
I mean, you can see the gorgeous line of pink wards leading all the way up from where Golden Glue is right now. They actually just cleared it straight up towards that Baron. It's just such great control again from CLG. And again, now they'll just wait towards the Baron. Infernal Drake not up for a number of minutes. They can think about that when it's spawned, but for now, look for a pick, fade back to Baron, and just force TL into so many high-pressure situations.
And you can see a really big wave is building in the bot lane for CLG. So while it's not a problem now, it will be in a minute or two. That wave will actually get massive because it is slow pushing and more waves will build up with it. So that is something that when you add in another mini wave or two, that'll actually kill turret on its own. So CLG just needs to keep pressure on this side of the map and force TL to not be able to respond to that.
Yeah, you can see Lolo wants to go down there. He does have TP, but is busy with the Baron right now as the stun lands in onto the Renekton wave. He's going to try and disengage the fight, but Golden Glue and the rest of TL do dodge it, looks for a charm with the Ahri, but does not find it. The CLG again just defending.
Yeah, remember, CLG doesn't need to fight. They don't need to take Baron. They just need to keep TL here for the bot lane to do their work. And if Lorlo does go to the bot lane, then you force a fight. Then you force the Baron and try to get that TP back out again. So this is the push and pull that CLG is doing. And right now, they're shoving up in this top lane, and then they go right back to the Baron. You force them to respond there, and we'll see if Lorlo looks for an opening as 6A. Okay, he's not going to go the dangerous way there, but that wave is building, and it's getting pinged on. CLG knows that it's there, so they're just going to keep applying pressure.
Yep, big split there from CLG, but they all regroup together out the front of the Baron.
And Piglet is moving down to grab the red buff. If he shows bot lane, CLG will rush the Baron, but I don't think he's going to get that greedy. But, I mean, this wave is enormous
it's
now.
Gigantic.
If you look at that, it's like covering the whole lane.
Almost reaching, yeah, you can see it there. Almost reaching back to where the outer turret once was. And TL just staying as 5 to try and force something. Lolo finally goes down to Andrew, but CLG, no, time to go.
Yep, now they have to force. Now CLG needs to do something. So they want to try to get at least the TP out. They are on the Baron. Piglet is not there either, so CLG are getting damage down on this. We'll see if they commit, because Lorlo is staying bot for now.
They can now see Piglet too. He caught mid, so Repel out there for Reno is going to keep him safe, but CLG just going to commit for the jungler. Ulti out there for Hui, but plenty of protection there from Matt. Golden Glue, they called out 1v5. Does have flash, does have ulti, but gonna have to magic his way out of this one. Should be just far enough. Stun not gonna
good look.
latch there. Piglet also moving back behind his mid laner. Actually a nice defense there for Team Liquid. Might even go aggressive, charm in. Landed in a Piglet just evaporates for Hui. 4v5 now, CLG have to run Afro solo as Stixay takes out Golden Glue though. Gonna be a 4v4 as Stixay strong. Lands in as the root hits on Sereno for Stixay. Wants to try and charm him down. Bit of rush there for protection. Great pop there for Darshan. Everyone piling in onto Piglet as he's forced to flash out of the way. Lolo plus his ultimate move.
Oh, he goes Lolo!
They to keep fighting, but Lolo gonna get kited rooted again by Dardoch. Too tanky to able to survive the onslaught from Stixay, but that was close.
That was a really close fight from both sides, and Piglet found such a good angle to be able to open up from right over the wall. Now he's looking for Stixay. Stixay
on the red buff, shouldn't be there perhaps, but Piglet gonna force him off it. Red buff gonna go over to Piglet, steals that away from CLG.
And one thing, that we haven't really talked about at all is Piglet is actually up 2 levels now because he's been by himself. But look at this angle from Piglet over the wall. The charm lands from Golden Glue. Piglet immediately opens up, kills off the mid laner, almost burst down Afromu there too, but a good trade kill from Stixay, lands the trap, nails the combo, and then they almost get Rainover, who was flashless because of the initial force on Baron.
One piece of CC away from just missing that kill.
Yeah, really was so close. And then, I mean, Lorlo trying to get something done here, but not able to actually close the gap because there's so much peel, there's so much CC from this team, and Darshan and Dardoch right back to it, grabbing that global objective. That's the second Infernal. 4 straight dragons for CLG, which means when the Elder spawns, TL must contest it, but they get almost nothing from it because they never picked up a dragon.
Golden Glue does dodge a stun there. Banshee's I think saving his life. CLG gonna get aggressive. Hui back with Unleashed Power. Ready to try and take down the Squishy, and CLG again take the Drake, move straight back to Baron. And despite the gold holding at about 3k for number of minutes, CLG just built such a big lead, and Stixay now with 3 items done. This next fight's going to be even tougher.
Yeah, and one of the big things working against TL for this fight is, 4 flashes expended, everyone except Golden Glue, and I actually feel like that playmaking cooldowns are more important for their composition than it is for just the shielding composition, because you must get in and delete Stixay, delete Hui, or you will fail, and they're going for this bear, and they look like they want to finish it. We'll see if they can get the smite.
They try and get him away, but Rainova is actually going to be back in range, moves back down, Dardoch smites it, and Rainova just evaporates in the front lines. Now Lolo going to get aggressive with Stixay, nets out of the way as CLG, just going to fight in the Baron pit. Daisy going to zone them out as Golden Glue finally mixing in, Flash dashes forward, trying to get it done, but Lolo so low as Dardoch is tanking everything out from Team Liquid. Finally, he dies to Piglet, and it's just a trade, but CLG do secure Baron.
Yeah, 1-for-1 and the Baron. I mean, Stixay netted out of that fight very early, was scared of going down, but then really couldn't contribute a lot of damage. Still, that Baron buff and the siege potential of this composition is going to be very strong here for CLG. We're going to need to see TL able to set something up. I mean, this wave, again, in the bot lane has been a problem for so long. CLG is setting up these slow pushes very well, and they're getting map control because of it.
And you can see almost taking out the turret by itself, but Afro going to dip down here with Stixay. Should be enough to try and take it. Lolo's like, yep, don't really want anything to do with you. And that should be another turret now for CLG. 7 turrets to 2. I forgot that mid has already been taken out. That's an inhibitor they can also look to now that they've got the Baron buff.
Yep, I mean, they already are trying to prep some of these waves, prepare for the eventual push. Now that everyone is back up on CLG, they want to spend their gold, they want to group up, and this is the eventual play from them. They're trying to force on this. This was actually pretty risky, as they do push Rainover back out, but he gets back into the pit as this is going down. That was very, very close. If he had gotten his smite off, he would have taken it away, but they do land the smite, they secure it, and look at Stixay, he netted out very early, so there's not a lot of consistent damage until someone actually comes up to the wall. Then he can start to actually fire back, get damage done. But with CLG securing the Baron, they still obviously come out very far ahead.
Looking good so far, and of course got the turret after it, so still well up in map lead and gold as a catch maybe down here on the red buff. Piglet takes it. No steal forthcoming. And you can see a Zeke's actually built there for Afro Moon. No, it's fell just yet, but there's a strong Caitlyn with the last Wisp now finish.
Yeah, that means with the proc, he has 100% crit. So you have 100% crit on that Caitlyn during it, and you're going to be able to have all this protection. Like, if he stays safe, he has so much damage. Piglet is looking for an angle, though. This is a level 16 Twitch on the side. If you can find that correct angle, you can burst someone down.
Yeah, Stixay, though, just playing up so confident with the protection of his team behind him. Both Afro and Dardoch protecting him here with their supports, and of course they've got the wave and the Gragas ulti to disengage any attempt to fight there from Team Liquid. So mid and Hib retaken once more. CLG now going to start on this top side.
Yeah, they already prepped the wave. Now they just go collect it. They push that in with the Baron buff. Super minions will be pushing mid. Looks like the bot wave is actually pushing 4 TL, so that is something going for them. But it's so hard to just walk straight in for a direct engage against CLG's comp. If you can't find Stixay separated from the team, you have to go through Gragas, go through, the Nami disengage, all this shielding and healing, and that's such a tough ask.
Well, wave clear pretty good there. Golden Glue teaming up with the Rainover to try and take that down. But again, the Baron minions are quite a bit stronger. Although it looks like everyone here again just to make sure they clear. CLG again being patient, certainly been a trademark of their team for so long, waiting for the super waves to happen. In fact, looks like they'll go back and buy instead. Dardoch steals away a Wolf Camp, because why not? And they're going to do this the proper way, I suppose. Now all going bot, making sure every single wave will be pushing.
Yeah, they can certainly look to set that up. The Baron isn't going to be available for too much longer, though.
Yeah, actually just pulling off.
The mid lane in Hib is really the worst one to have down, because you don't have pressure around Elder or Baron. You can just sit in mid lane, clear the supers, and still be able to respond to either objective. So TL is going to have extra farm funneled into them. They have an XP advantage. They are, getting quite a bit of gold, and CLG does want to look to try to crack the base or pressure the Elder or do something else. They can't just sit back and chill forever.
Yeah, it feels like that Elder timing coming up in a minute 10. Does seem like the reason CLG did want to pull away from a potential siege. Golden Glue spotted. But CLG not in position to move down through the jungle. Map is pretty bare of wards on either side, but TL have nice defensive vision on their own half. CLG now going to move in, start to clear that vision, and this is that minute setup before this Elder Dragon.
Exactly, and because they've collected the 4 dragons prior, as a little skirmish breaking out, shouldn't be anything too much happening though.
Dardoch face tanking up, in fact going back in with the red buff onto Rainover. Gets stunned in, now forced to flash away. A charm lands into the backline. Stixay about to get assassinated by Golden Glue.
Oh, he got
lands in
cocooned.
again. Really nice stuff, and Piglet on a rampage. They're going to let it rip with the ultimate. Another charm there lands in. They've actually tagged Hui as Golden Blue's great on these flank charms. But the rest of TL just can't quite get in. Darshan Blast goes into the back of the Elder Dragon pit. But 6A being down for 40 seconds means plays off for CLG.
Yeah, and I mean, they're just going to try to have to stop the other team from taking the Elder now. TL won't get that much from it, but denying it from CLG would be so big because of those 4 dragons. And Stixay gets caught out again. That's really the only way TL can win these fights, and they managed to find it.
Tail's not enough there for effort to try and save him as Piglet just demonstrating his power right now. 3-item Twitch plus a Q assess with more to come. Piglet ulti about halfway cooled down, so not going to have it for a little while longer. But again, over around the Elder, TL going to force something here versus CLG. Golden Glue looks for Afromu, does land the first charm, but the flash into the back end of the Q by Afro means he takes a bit of extra damage. Still flash down for the Nami. Darshan looking to threaten here. Charm gonna miss.
And Stixay's back up, so he's running down, and CLG still, while they did lose the last fight, it's lower health bars on TL. They're trying to delay bases, and they need to be as a 5-man squad.
Oh, they spot a Piglet. Does have to QSS out of the way. Darshan looks to jump back in on him, but the rest of TL there to save him. Guys get the knockback. Ulti on the Piglet wave. It's going to chase him down. Stixay almost snipes him. Mason Hole's going to tag Matt. And now 5v4. Golden Glue stun. Darshan straight over the wall.
And Golden Glue has no mana, and Reignover is very low. They can chase down and kill Reignover probably for sure. And they can look to end mid if they get him.
Reignover absolutely dead at this point. Rappel down, does die to Stixay. Golden Glue gonna get jumped on by Darshan. Body slam barely hits on the other end, and patience from Darshan gets him another kill.
And they are pinging onto the Elder, but I think they could just end mid. We'll see if they decide to actually change it up or what they're gonna do here. Maybe these are long death timers.
Maybe a little bit of both. I mean, might have time to push back in with the Elder buff if they don't recall, but certainly the more conservative play. Darshan not going to get his back cancelled. Hui, though, going to get spotted. Good stun. Might be enough to save his life. Piglet with the flash of redemption. Going to try and heal him up. Oh, the last tick of poison. Piglet unstoppable.
A greedy recall there punished from Hui. And I mean, CLG still huge advantage now with the Elder. That's 4 stacks, so it's 45 base damage and then 45 additional for every dragon you have. So you're looking at 225 true damage burn from every auto attack. But here is the fight again. They actually spotted Piglet with the sweeper there, and that's what prompts this fight. I don't think he realized he was spotted, actually. And 6A wasn't here just yet, but you have Lorlo in base. You have a lot of these guys without cooldowns, and they're able to force on them because of that.
And then again, 6A just getting some snipes over the wall. Great set of chain stuns there for CLG. And with Baron back up, CLG have spent their money. This is so dangerous from Team Liquid.
Stixay is not with the team just yet, though, so TL is forcing this, and Golden Glue's on the side. He's going to look for the assassination.
He's dead as well. Charmer to Afro Moon. Not enough shields, I don't think. That Piglet still dominating. Stixay and finally joined the fight. Hui running down from base towards the Baron pit.
This is just becoming a problem. 6A just never seems to be with the team, but Golden Glue may go down, and then remember, this is Elder Dragon Burn.
Dies to Darshan. Stixay still firing in, but Piglet playing up and aggressive. Needs to kill CLG. Hui flashes forward, deletes Piglet, and grabs a shutdown on Darshan. So disruptive, tags Reignover again. Matt goes down as Hui grabs himself the double kill. No way to repel to, goes down to Stixay, and CLG cleared up 4 members of Team Liquid.
And they're going to walk it down mid. They're going to be able to at least get the inhibitor. I mean, Lorlo has to try to cut the wave, deny the minions, do something here to try to save the game, but I don't think he's going to be able to because Darshan can tank the turret for the team. They have the 4 Elder Dragons, and they're looking to end.
They've got Daisy as well. Little resistance here for TL with only Lorlo left. He's going to ulti in and run forward, pops the stone plate to buy some time, but he's just eating too much Elder Dragon damage as Daisy grabs a knock-up. GA's going to revive him. Stixay is going to put some cupcakes at his feet. At least he gets a little dessert at the funeral because he's dead as well. The ace completed for CLG. The Nexus start's going to fall down, and a sweep completes. A great weekend start for CLG.
Starting it off 2-0 with the new roster. Dardoch on the Ivern, looking good. And, TL, they made CLG work for it, at least in this second game. I think it was a better performance from them, but despite 6A getting caught out a couple times and making it look close, CLG was definitely in control throughout. And I've started off very well in the NALCS.
And it does feel like this sort of comp, and we haven't seen much of Ivern at all so far in the weekend just because of how many teams have been banning it. That sort of comp to me feels like something almost any iteration of CLG would have been comfortable running. Just so many points of power, such a clear win condition for them. They're already so good in sieges and around the map. 60's a great Caitlyn player as well. everything kind of coming together there, and that's something that CLG, if they can play that, which is very popular in the meta, and still show up the playmaking on the different positions, more aggression coming out of the jungler. I mean, everything looking great. CLG's biggest question this whole season will be consistency, and so far so good with 2 match wins.
Yeah, and I mean, it goes back again to the pick and ban discussion we had at the top of the day. It's like, well, why would you give them Caitlyn and Ivern? Well, because you have to ban all these other things against CLG. And if Dardoch can prove that he can play supportive style junglers, the tank style junglers, we already know that he's so strong on the carries, that makes it even harder to draft against this team because they're showing so much flexibility. They're showing a lot of poise as well. And they are looking better than they did all last split.
And I think I have to continue to give Dardoch some credit here. Again, he's not having like incredible games, but he's doing what he needs to do, which is, I think, a rarity from the man. Well, to hear more about that 2-0 from CLG, let's send it back over to the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. CLG closing out their first week here on Saturday with 2-0 overall. Another 2-0 victory in terms of match score over Team Liquid, who look to be very much struggling here on the outset of the split. But for CLG, again, so much of it seems to be coming off the back of playmakers like Afromu more specifically than Dardoch. But it's nice to see the Ivern look on Dardoch as well. So on the outset of the season, we've seen many different strategies and playstyles from him on this new squad.
Yeah, and Ivern is a champion that you would never have thought would succeeded when he was on Immortals because he's so important on actually carrying the game. This time around, being much more of that team player once again. And that's kind of what we were hoping to see with Dardoch, was that he could slot into a system that CLG seems to, run pretty well for the most part, always looking good for the past couple seasons now, and he's able to step in.
Of course, we do have another crazy level 1 where they're going over the
still
wall.
not the cleanest.
They're blowing flashes. I mean, typical to CLG, they look for level 1 invades and try and get themselves early advantages in that way, and this time, at least, it works out better than it does in game 1, but we've yet to see the game kind of start on equal footing. Now, with those advantages that they had, of course, it was more so in the top lane this time around. Darshan showing some prowess on the Gragas in the 1v3 dive that he was able to at least stall out long enough to secure the first turret in the bot lane and trade 1-for-1 in this dive.
Yeah, this is huge because when you're in this kind of situation, you might lose the turret first. That's a lot of global gold that you're going to lose out on. He does a good job buying enough time, making them blow a lot of resources. You see the exhaust have to come down. Multiple people getting low. Eventually, he's able to trade the 1-for-1. It takes them too long to get the turret. They get it on the bot side. Also, during this whole time, Huhi's just sitting mid, so he's getting the push advantage. And it's one of those kind of plays that, when you watch it, you're like, oh, that looked nice. But when you really consider everything happening on the map, it's a huge play off the back of Darshan.
Yeah, very much so. But then from there, it's all about, okay, CLG, again, has demonstrated, and this has been an organizational thing in throughout their history, that with a lead, they know how to close out the game. They can get themselves there. On the side of Team Liquid, it still seems like their identity and style of playing the game has not been established. I don't know what this squad, this roster wants to do.
On this game in particular, you see a little bit more Piglet on Twitch, that hyper carry. They were talking about, between the splits, that the problem that they thought they were having last season was more about coaching staff and the meta not being quite right. Sure, this time you can play Twitch, you get the Blade of the Rune King, a bigger playmaker. Piglet still struggled a little bit in the mid game to really find a lot of openings to get his own advantages. In the late game, he was playing the team fights reasonably well, which is what you want to see, but the whole team isn't quite there. It's not this complete, like, Piglet's going to carry a style. You have the Ari coming in, trying to assist in getting those pickoffs, but they didn't really coordinate that well, and it's still a struggle because these are the 5 guys that we saw last season really failing to live up to the hype that came in.
Of course it is just week 1. It is day 1 for them, and classic class of League of Legends analysis. We can always go to the far extreme and say, well, you forfeit the season, everything's over. But hey,
be the doomsayer, like, sky's falling.
Exactly. So we'll see where they get and how they evolve throughout the split. And again, as people struggle with, well, how do we use Rift Herald and how do we deal with the new objectives and priority on the map, we'll see how they grow themselves. For CLG though, again, winning against C9 in an upset, winning a game that they probably expected to win here, but doing it both in 2-0 fashion here today, 2-1 fashion yesterday. They're going to feel really good coming out of week 1.
And the big thing is, as a coach, if you're Tony, you love this weekend because you get the 2 wins, but you didn't actually look that great.
Right.
And their wins against C9, it was mostly comp stuff where, like, great, we have 2 immobile carries and a wombo combo. We're going to land this all the time. And the macro wasn't that clean. This time around, game 2, they have some big advantages, and they stall out for a little while. Piglet's able to get going a little bit on the Twitch, and it's still not super clean. So they have a lot to work with and improve on. So if you're a CLG fan, you're like, great, we're winning right now, and we can get better. This is exactly what you you kind of want to see.
Winning while seeing growth potential is exactly where you want to be. Player of the game this time around going to Darshan, particularly because of the way that he dealt with the laning phase, right? Against an aggressive laner like Renekton, getting dove and focused, he still managed to buy himself and his team time.
Yeah, that was the one death he had all game. And then in the late game, you saw, even in that last team fight, he was frontlining pretty well. Afro got picked off right at the beginning, and Darshan goes and finishes off Golden Glue to make sure that they can't really win that team fight. TL gets really confused on who they want to focus down. Great frontlining overall for Darshan.
More than a solid week here for CLG, finishing 2-0. Let's check in with Freak, who's standing by with CLG's playmaking support.
Thank you very much, Dash, and great cast of the day to everyone else here. I'm here with Aframu, victorious support of Counterlogic Gaming. 2-0 week. First of all, congratulations. Did you expect such a good start coming out for CLG based on practice?
Yes.
Yes, you did. Okay. Dardoch said yesterday, I am going to paraphrase, that this match would be easy. It'd be a 2-0. Why did you expect to do so well against Liquid?
They actually had information on us before we played them, so we played yesterday and then we were able to watch those games. But they could have really won the first game and done well with the knowledge that they got, but as long as we played just how we did in practice, I thought we would do really well.
And of course you did. And so talking about doing really well, though, I want to talk about you as a player, because you've looked incredible so far in the summer split in your sample size of 5 games. Some really, really good ones here. Last split, it seemed like you fell off. You were no longer like the all-team North American support, yet you had been known as the best support in NA before. So talk to me about sort of your dips in growth as a player. Is it because Bard and Rakan are good again? Like, what has made you stand out again?
I think last split I played with a lot of frustration during games, and definitely stopped my growth as a player for improving and stuff like that. So after this past offseason, I realized that and took a step back. And I don't really like playing frustrated. It just isn't me. And so I just took that in stride and definitely changing my mindset for this split.
And so far, the mindset looks pretty good. CLG 2-0. You guys off to a great start. So what is it that has made CLG so much stronger now? Is it Dardoch, like the upset over Cloud9? Of course, you guys are now beating the second place team from the last split. What's made CLG so much better?
I do think a lot of our players have gone through a mindset change in general, especially me, as well as Josh coming in as an aggressive jungler definitely helps us move towards playing a lot better as a team. And even in game it looks kind of sloppy, I feel like it's really sloppy, especially the second game. We'll get there, and I do think we do have a really good team.
I agree. You do have a really good team. And speaking of really good teams, you're up against the team behind you next week. TSM is your second match of week 2. Talking about how that's going to look for you guys.
I do think TSM's one of the top 2 teams right now. Scrimming against them last week was fun. But I do think that game will probably determine who's going to be first in this split.
Thank you very much, Aframu. 1 and 2, apparently you guys in TSM. Congratulations on the wins this week. We will see you next week. And now it sounds down to a commercial. We'll see you for these guys right after the break.
Those guys are smiling at me, dude. Don't smile back. Oh, god damn it, Josh.
I joined their lobby,
How
sorry.
is Josh supposed to be the villain, dude?
I joined their lobby and told them I loved them.
Oh, okay, respectable then. That's okay.
Rucola's going to land in. Hui should be able to follow. And there's first blood to Darshan. Redemption's going to reset the fight. Hui already took out Matt with the ulti. There's a second kill as Dardoch. Credit for damage onto Rainova.
Oh, we gotta jump, we gotta jump.
Look.
Holy shit,
nice.
Good
job, Christian, good job.
Back.
I'm waving down. Trapping.
Back.
At least no flash, no flash.
Yeah, we can go.
Hui flashes forward, deletes Piglet, and grabs a shutdown on Darshan. So disrupting attacks Rainova again. Matt goes down as Hui grabs himself the double kill. No way to repel to, goes down to 6A, and CLG cleared up 4 members of Team Liquid.
Starting it off 2-0 with the new roster. Dardoch on the Ivern, looking good.